Hey everybody, Dennis from Boas coming at you here. Just got back from I was up the cabin up north. I figured I'd make a video. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess first we'll show off our Paraguana Peninsula boa here. This one is Anery. Look at the wicked eyes in that thing. The camera probably ain't gonna pick up those eyes, but they're pretty awesome. These are naturally anatteristic. This is, of course, a locality boa, as you can see by the lack of red in the tail. And, I guess the founding pairs had some Anery in them. These were originally from Rich, who I believe got his founding parents from, his parents from Vin. So these are the real deal. And this actual particular one came from Seth Zelnick. What I want to talk about today a little bit for me is, and I should have brought it out here, I didn't, but I can explain it, maybe show another video on, hooks versus gloves versus, like, what do we use? In my case, I use a hook that looks like a pencil. It's literally that small. It's a little telescoping hook that would have a hard time moving a garter snake. And the reason why I use one like that is I never hook a boa per se. I'll just more or less tap train it with that little tiny hook. That way I'm never tempted to actually use it. I'm not a big believer in them for me. For me, if a snake's any size with a hook, I believe you could damage ribs quite easily. So I try to never ever use one. And to be upfront and honest, I don't use one. I don't own one that I could use, even if I wanted to. That little tiny thing ain't moving nothing. That's a joke. It would bend it. It's garbage. But it does work for what I use it for, which is just a quick slight rub and then pick it up. A lot of people say, why don't you just get a big one and do that big slight rub with? I guess I could, but then I might be tempted to use it one day, and I'd just rather not have it that way. If I have a snake that's a little feisty, remember, I work with only boas. So if I have a snake that's feisty, I'll use a welder's glove. I just find it, you don't have true control because it'll slip right through it, but your hand's not going to break ribs. Or you could do one welder's glove on the lead hand and then grab it with your firm hand. Again, I work with just boas. I'm not saying somebody with retics or Burmese should do the same, but on the other hand, it's all that much more weight you're dealing with and probably more likely to break a rib. So my guess would be maybe to use two. I mean, I don't know how they do it. I'm not going to pretend to do. I had Burmese when I was younger, but I kind of did them the same way. I just don't want to suggest a welder's glove and somebody have their face by a thing and get whacked by a reticulated python and then say, oh, Ace Boas said that this is all I should use. So it's not about that. It's all that I use. Any of this stuff that I tell on a video is not a do-all, end-all. I'm not one of these guys that are going to tell you and say, oh, I told you so. It's just what works for me. It don't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. It's the same thing with I'm up there now with all these babies, by the way. By the way, I skip around these videos. I'm never super focused. It's just the way they are. It's more or less to be educational and just to say, hey, what's going on at Ace Boas, I get back to what I was saying. I start all my animals in frozen thawed, even babies. I have those litters up there. That's what I was getting to, which, by the way, I got to say, record fast sellouts for me. 7 hours, And it's not like we're giving these animals away, neither. It's just... I believe that's what customer service helps those. You get fans. I'm very lucky. I have the best customers in the world. But anyhow, and once again, that don't work for everybody, starting a baby on frozen thawed, but that's just the way I do it. I try with all my might to go that route. Now, strike that for island boas. Island boas, I learned very quickly. I thought I was going to go that route. That does not work. The island boas upstairs, even going the live route on live fuzzy mice, first attempt 5 out of 10 took live, so that's not too shabby. The next 5 will probably take next go around. These are just awesome boas. But anyhow, I really just wanted to get on here and more or less just get in touch with everybody because it's been a little while. And, any questions, feel free. Facebook's where my huge following is, but you can always ask me here or Facebook or Instagram. I'll always, Facebook's what I'm on the most, but I'll always be glad to answer any question for any one within reason. I can try to help them out. I don't want to mislead anyone this. I think Trap Talk's having their thing tonight. I normally would mention anyone else in the video for sure. I just bring it up because I think it's for Vin tonight, and as many of you probably know, we went through a misfortune, and I wouldn't want to see anyone go through that. And I think he's done a lot for our hobby. I think anyone that says he hasn't, I feel personally is foolish, but to each their own. I guess once again, to each their own. It's how I feel. I feel he's done a lot for a hobby, period. And I also know if anyone wanted to donate, it don't matter how small it is, right? People don't realize $5 adds up. If there's enough people doing it. I believe it's Cutting Edge Herp on Facebook, and I'm sure he's everywhere. I mean, you can find it, Finn Russo. And I know he has a GoFundMe, for example. Just go to GoFundMe. And if you feel like helping out, help out. I'm sure it'd be appreciated on his part. That's really about it. That's all that's going on here. I got a bunch more litters coming. I do have a Feudo Wild Caught Suriname. Many of you know my Feudo Wild Caught. I think he's one of the best breeder males I have. He's going to be to a Pure Russo Suriname that I picked up from Vin at the White Plains show many moons ago. She's on litter number 6, by the way. Impressive for a female boa. And then I also have a Palmaville Peruvian female, which I'm 95%. We know Peruvians are tricky, right? 95% sure she's gravid. I'm going to go with 100 actually. She's heavy. She hasn't ate nothing since, what's it been? Since December. So I would say she's gravid for sure. There's another, right? There's another thing. I personally don't feed when they're gravid. Some do, some don't. Strike that, as I don't do cuts. That was the wrong answer. I don't feed until they're gravid. And then I'll feed like one meal, very tiny, and let them ride. That's it. I come in heavy, so that's how I usually work my boas. Everybody's a little different. That's just how I do it. Some people I know that are very, very well known will feed the entire time they're gravid, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. It's up to them. But once again, I would cut it in the end, I should say, last 6 weeks or whatever it is. See, because I'm only doing 1-2 maximum in the beginning, very small feedings, I don't have to worry about when the cutoff is because they're already cut off. And that's generally helps me a lot to realize when the snake is gravid and when it ain't. I do know if you're feeding them the entire time, they'll look big, they'll look thick, and it'll just be nothing. Usually mine look big and look thick after through a whole season of breeding, usually means they're gravid. But I also tempt them. That's another way of knowing it. That Peruvian's temping at 89, 88, which is classic of a gravid BCC. But anyhow, that's all we got. I'll be back at you. Please like, share, follow. I appreciate you. Ace Boas. Till next time.